What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are working on yet another leak on the Land Cruiser. Now this leak is coming from the front differential. Luckily it is not from the axle seals that we replaced previously. It is actually coming from the drive shaft seal. So we got a new seal. Let's put it in. After you take off that heat shield, you can see this mess right here is where the oil is leaking from. This is a little bit wet too, but I believe this is from the grease that we put in the Zerk fitting for the drive shaft itself. So that should be fine, but this is what I'm worried about here. This is what we're going to be replacing. All right, next we're going to take out the drive shaft. These guys right here, 4 bolts, they are 14 mils. It's a bolt and a nut at the end with a washer on the bolt side. So once you've got these guys out, you should be able to take out the drive shaft. So once you move the drive shaft out of the way, you'll see the nut back here. This guy is a 30 mil, you can see that. But that's what we'll need to loosen to get the flange out. So let me go grab my impact socket. There we go. Nut comes out. And then after that, the flange should slide out. There we go, that's the flange out, and now we have the seal right there. And there you have it, that's my leaky seal. So now we'll need to get maybe a pry bar to get this guy out. There we go, one old seal. So this is the old seal. It's kind of tweaked because I yanked it out with a screwdriver. And here is the new seal. They look, actually, let me open this up. I'll have the part number in the description down below, but that is it right there. Made by Toyota, of course. And it looks exactly the same. I think we should be okay. So before you put the new seal back in, make sure you clean out the groove right here. Make sure there's no rubber bits or little rocks or anything. Just a simple paper towel, wipe it down. There we go, nice and clean. Now we're ready for the new seal. So as usual, before we put the new seal in, after we cleaned the housing, we want to use a little bit of grease on the seal itself so that way it slides in really easy. You can actually, if you want, if you have left over on your finger, little bit on the edge of the housing. Doesn't really hurt it, but I'll help it go in a little bit easier. Okay, put the seal in. Now you never want to hammer on to the new seal. What I found is best if you don't have that big of a socket to hammer against. I would definitely use the old seal, and because it's the exact same size, and you can hammer it and break it without worrying. So I found the 54 mil socket for the axle nuts on the Land Cruiser, and it looks like it's a close fit. We'll see if it'll work. I'll just use it to tap it in a little bit. Oh, this is an awkward angle. Definitely going in, but obviously one side went in a lot more than the other side, so see if I can push it in by hand a little bit first. I think that's about it. You want the lip even all the way around. I think the seal sticks out a little bit away from the housing, so it's not completely flush. And I think I've just got that about right. Worst case, it doesn't work, I gotta pull it back out. After I put everything back in, I pull it back out and redo it. But I think we should be okay. Next up, we've got the flange itself. Usually it doesn't matter, but I'll put a little bit of grease also on this guy, so it slides in a little bit easier and it doesn't mess up the seal. In we go. Now we've got the nut. Now there's a trick to this nut. You can see that right here. That's where the when the factory installed it, that's when they put the little lock. You know, they chiseled that little part in to get it torqued down correctly. Now what I usually like to do is just tighten it down right to where that notch is, so that way the torque specs will be really close. You see how it's tight, but it's almost there, but not really. A little bit more. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Okay, you can see the groove matches with the old one perfectly. So now I'll get a chisel and a hammer, bend it back in, and we're good to go. And there we go. So the part I chiseled in basically acts as a lock so the nut doesn't back out. And then now is actually a very good time to check your front U-joint since it's unbolted. This one feels pretty good. It's not too loose, but it's not too tight. there's no metal on metal noise. So we can just put this back in. And that is it. Now, all you gotta do is drive the car around, let it fully warm up, and stop and check for leaks. If there's no leaks, you're good to go. Something that I did to make my life a little bit easier was leave the underbody paneling off so I can look in there and check for leaks very easily. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy and hit that like button. And for more Land Cruiser content, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.